Hey everyone, today we are going to be looking at Google Earth's history feature, and we're going to show you how we're using it right now on a piece of property that's in escrow that we're doing due diligence on to look at how the water is flowing across this property to make sure that where we want to actually build some structures is not going to be affected by water, and see if it actually, we got some low areas on the property that may not make good pasture land. We're going to look at that, and I want to show you how we can also see some irrigation, history of the irrigation system that's on this property. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to share my screen with you. So if you're listening on a podcast, make sure you go over to YouTube and you can see what we're actually talking about on camera. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and show you that here right now. All right, so what we're looking at here now, this is Google Earth, and this is the desktop version of Google Earth. So you have to have this in order to get the history feature, the imagery, historic imagery. So make sure you download this desktop app. So that's going to help you. So for what we're looking at is a piece of property here that is about 5.5 acres, and you can, these are kind of the boundaries here. You got this southerly boundary. Here's your easterly, northerly, and westerly here. So what we're seeing here, we got a house that's here, there's a shop right here. And the cool thing about the history feature of Google Earth is it typically defaults. You can see up here is July of 2022. So the imagery we're looking at is July 2022. You'll see down at the bottom here a lot of times too, it'll give you the date of the image as you move through here. This gives you coordinates. You also see elevations. It's kind of a cool feature that you can see. So you can drag your mouse around on here and you can see the elevation change as you go up. So this is the high point of the property here. So that's a cool feature that you can use. But what we're going to talk about today is actually the water that's moving across this property. We wanted to check and see what that has been doing in the past. And this area here is a good spot to put a barn on this property. So it's a little bit of a higher area. These areas over here look low. So we're looking at how this would be affected by water flow. You can see the water here is actually, this is runoff from these farmers' fields that are over here. So this is kind of everything's running to here. This property runs down this direction here. So comes in here and there's a road here. And there's a ditch that where this water that kind of pools up here, it ends up draining here, and then it goes across and out underneath this road, the main road here, and to this other side. So what we are looking at, we're going to zoom in here just a little bit. The imagery is a little bit better actually on some of the older images we'll see, but this looks like the current flow of the water. There's also water that comes here and goes, there's a little ditch that runs underneath this road and then fields in here. So what we'll do is I actually have some notes on my other screen here that I can get some dates here, but on 6 of 2014, we'll see here, I'm going to let's go back up. This is going to go to 5 of 20. And I think I have another image here. Let's see. Okay, so this is a little clearer image, actually, it's a little easier to see. This is what's there today. So you can see the water here, and then this is like in 2018, July 2018. So you can see this ditch, and then it actually runs like this, and then under, and then this water is running here. So you can kind of, it flows out of that ditch. So we're going to go back to 6 of 2014. I want to show you what it used to look like. So this is prior to a fix being done on this ditch, and you can see that this water here is still here, but the flow, looks like the ditch was failing or something was happening here, and all this water is just going here. There's no ditch to actually take this water over here. They're just letting it go through. So it doesn't, maybe it's backing up over here, overflowing, something like that, but it's running out. It doesn't look like it's controlled very well. So, and then this might be the end of the ditch here that you can see, but water's coming into the road and runs to here. So we can still see this area that actually is pretty high right here, which is kind of nice. So that it's not an issue even when this wasn't controlled very well. But then when we come back and we go to actually, it looks like they fixed this year. So in 2015, you can see a very prominent, it's just a good line here from the ditch that they dug. So they cleaned this. You can see they dug this. This was done probably in the spring before the water got turned back on. This looks just like runoff, probably from spring rain, not from any watering that's being done. But this is, you can see the ditch here, and now you don't see all this flow line through here like you did before. So they've controlled this, and you can see that from now on as you move into more recent years, that is maintained. So we can see that that is not an issue. They do got some green in here, but that's not the water that's actually doing that. I believe they were irrigating that. So that area down there, but you can see here again that this is consistent towards controlled down below. So that is a good look at how we're on this property, how we go, okay, well, we knew we had a low area. Is it controlled water? Is the water going up? Now it appears to be controlled by this ditch that they've improved back in 2015. So the other thing I wanted to show you that we found on here, so let's go back to 2010, and this is in regards to the irrigation. So this thing, our property, had gravity fed ditch, it's an open ditch for its irrigation that came down, and this was back in prior to 2010. And right here, we'll see if we can, actually this is 2010. Let me jump back one more year. So if I go back to 8 of 2009, this is a ditch. So you can see this is an open ditch and it's running down here. And this is what's bringing water down from the canal that's up above the, it's higher up elevation, and they were gravity feeding this all the way down. So in 2010, and I know this now by talking to and gathering some more information from other individuals on this, but there was a lot split that was done. And then this right here, once they did that, they actually installed a pressurized irrigation system. And then that was where they started trenching and doing this work here. So this is all backfilled now. However, and there's no schematic on this property because it was the owner did not provide that, but you can see now where all this underground irrigation is, which is kind of cool to be able to find. It's all pressurized line. And it just so happens that the neighbor had torn out the line prior, actually digging out a pond. So this now is actually needed to be found to locate this line to where the actually tie into this line and reconnect it to the pressurized line that's coming down from the canal. So this was a helpful find as well. And we actually had started looking at this history again to try to locate the septic, because we find septic systems a lot of times that are not documented on a property. And we were not able to do it on this one. And I think it's because there was one person living in this house, and there's not a lot of usage on that system. So you can't see a green area that you a lot of times would see inside of a leach field is located. So what we're gonna do is we'll actually camera the line, find out where the tank's at, and then try to chase it down that way. So we found this. And then the other thing we have on here that was even helpful was we found the fence line. So they adjusted the fence line. I think this is actually more the lot split. I think that irrigation happened prior to the lot split. But so take back what I mentioned there about that. The timeline on 2015, I think the lot split was closer. The lot split was 2008. So this is just when they changed the fences. So the fence lines changed in 2015, which is here. So you can see here, this is the lot split was finalized, and then they went ahead and did this the change of the fence line. So this is now the new property line, and we're out now actually verifying property corner locations because we found record of surveys that are there. So we'll get you some updates on that one. But this is what we were able to pin a couple of these already, and they're all showing us that they're capped and located by a surveyor. So we got it back in 2008. So we're gonna chase those down. But this is you can find a number of things with these historic images on Google. On the Google Earth. So check it out. And then also you can see down here the imagery dates. That's 4/29/2015. So that gives you a good idea of when that was taken, and you can start piecing together a story for that property. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful in learning how to use Google Earth to do a little bit more due diligence on your property if you're actually buying something. So if you need help buying or selling land, or buying or selling your home, feel free to reach out to us. Also, if you're looking to build a home or an accessory dwelling unit, feel free to reach out to us. So we're a full service residential real estate and building company. So we specialize in residential real estate. And you can check out all these videos that we do on realpropertytv.com. And you can also check them out on our website at tfgonline.com. We just have a ton of information on both of those sites that you can check out and get more information. So, all right. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks for joining me, and have a great rest of your day.